So I have a definition of narcissism that's a little different from other people's. Normally we think of a narcissist as someone who loves themselves. And I'm actually saying that a narcissist is a person who doesn't love themselves sufficiently. So in order to get through life, we have to have a degree of self-esteem. We have to think that we're worthy of certain things. We have to have a sense of inner worth. If we don't have that kind of bedrock from within, we constantly need attention and validation from other people, right? I need attention, I need to stir trouble, I need to feed my ego. I can't get it from myself, I have to get it from other people. That's a classic, what I call a deep narcissist. And that's why they cause so many problems in life. And I measure it. I say, imagine it like a water line. And here at the top is someone who's not a narcissist. Here at the middle is kind of an average person. And as you sink deeper into narcissism, you're more and more self-absorbed. You can never get up to that mid-level point where you can start thinking about other people. At the high point, you're someone who's very empathetic. You're able to get inside the mind of other people. You understand their moods, their emotions. Most of us fall at that range of maybe 60%, 50 being the middle line. We have moments of narcissism where we get self-absorbed, particularly if we have problems, and we turn inward. But then we have enough self-esteem because of our parents and because of our background that we raise ourselves back up and we don't keep continually sinking into that narcissism. We want to get higher, we want to get to that level where we're able to be more empathetic. A deep narcissist has sunk so far below that they can never get up to even to that halfway point. They're so self-absorbed, they're so insecure, they constantly must stir up trouble, they need to be the center of attention. If to be the center of attention means to create a great work of art, that's fine. But sometimes to be the center of attention means to mess with people, to create problems, to stir up trouble, and to be at the center of that. Once somebody is at that level, like a 20 or 30, and these are just arbitrary numbers,
sure,
there's nothing that's going to raise them back up. That's who they are. There's nothing they can do. There's almost nothing other people can do. They are what's the word? They're damaged goods.
And narcissists seem to be driven by a high desire to obtain unearned status from others. And the most important thing for them is not status in relationship to competence, let's say, or in relationship to performance, but just in status for its own sake. And then the psychopaths seem to be something approximating parasitical predators. And so they're very, very low in agreeableness, and that makes them callous and non-empathetic. And then they also seem to be very low in conscientiousness. That seems to accord reasonably well with the two factors of the psychopathy scale. And so a real psychopath is someone who is willing to take what you have, let's say, and use it, and that might be the predatory aspect, and also to live off the earnings and efforts of others, and that's also an element of criminal behavior.
Nine traits from the DSM. Grandiose sense of self-importance, preoccupation with fantasies of power and success and beauty, believing they're special, requiring excessive admiration, a sense of entitlement, being interpersonally exploitative, lacking in empathy, envious, arrogant. Know it? Yes, of course you do. This is from the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. In order to get a clinical diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder, you need to hit, the narcissist needs to hit 5 of 9. They're equally weighted traits. This is a shit way of diagnosing people. It's garbage. It's not useless. I'm not saying it's useless. I think this is very, very flimsy. And I don't think it's their priority, as I said earlier, to have the best way of diagnosing an actual person with narcissistic personality disorder. It's for the application of insurance in America, of medical insurance. That's it. So it's rough. It's kind of like, you know, when they issue army manuals, you always get like the most strict version of what can be done. This is a very strict way of doing it. It's the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual that's issued by the American Psychiatric Association. In the DSM-5, the latest edition, there was 21 psychiatrists on the committee to decide these 9 things. They had an argument. They didn't all agree. There was a head of the committee, and he said, this is what we're sticking with. And I'm not having a pop. I'm not having a go. Based on what they're trying to do, that's okay. But as a diagnostic criteria to really sort the wheat from the chaff and to say this person has narcissistic personality disorder versus this person has narcissistic traits, which is the difference between saying there is hope here and there is not, that's no good. So here's an alternative one that I would suggest. How you would test for this, I do not know yet, but this is the way that I would do it. I would split. I'd say if a therapist or a clinician has potentially got somebody in front of them with narcissistic personality disorder, they need to be looking internally and externally. Externally, I need to see exploitation. If I don't see exploitation, but I see arrogance and envy, that ain't narcissistic personality disorder to me. To me, this is not orthodoxy. This is my informed opinion. They must be entitled. They must feel either through the narrative of I'm amazing or I'm the biggest victim in the room, I uniquely am entitled to treat people badly because I was treated badly or because I'm awesome and other people are crap. There must be entitlement, and we must see a notable lack of empathy. So if you see a person who's arrogant and haughty, they're very envious of others, they're very attached to an idea of themselves in the world, but they are capable of empathy, they might be a bit of a knob, but I don't think we can say that that's a psychiatric clinical entity of any relevance. Because if they have empathy, they can go to therapy. If they can go to therapy and be vulnerable, you can clear that stuff up. You could just say there's other ways of relating to people without being so arrogant, without being so fantastical. Internally, this is where I'll run into trouble and into controversy. I'm claiming that narcissistic personality disorder needs to be understood as having pronounced dissociative elements and psychosis. It is a manifestation of a psychotic spectrum disorder. That's my claim, and that will get me in trouble.